or September 6th, 2022 meeting of the regular meeting of the Chino Valley Planning and Zoning Commission. Would you lead us in the pledge, Madam?
Flag of the United States of America. To the republic
Which stand?
It looks like we have a full commission tonight. We've done A and B, so let's move forward to item C, the consent calendar. Is there anybody who has any issues with the items that are on the consent calendar from the commission? Oh, yes, we have, yeah, thank you. We have a correction to add to the minutes in the fact that town staff Lori Lineberry was not listed in it, which I think we've taken care of on your end of it.
We will add her in.
We just want to note it for the record. Is there any other item or any question? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the consent calendar.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. So we're going to move forward to item D, public hearings. D.1, which is TA-2022-05. This is a text amendment to request to amend the Town of Chino Valley Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 154, as pertaining to water and sewer town codes by amending certain provisions of the Chapter 2 related to the meaning of words and terms, and certain provisions of Chapter 4 related to lot size, certain provisions of Chapters 5 related to subdivisions, subdivision processes, land splits, water design, sewer design, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, and providing servability. Will.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the commission. As read, this text amendment is a proposed amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance to essentially make it consistent with town code regarding a recent amendment to chapters 50 and 51 surrounding water sewer policies within the town code that was adopted earlier this year. So two real key points of this is it's reconciling the UDO and town code with respect to water sewer in conjunctions with minimum lot size. And then staff did add a couple administrative changes to add subdivision definitions, refine the final plat process, and then adjust platting timelines. Specifically, the preliminary plat right now, it currently has a 1-year time limit with a 1-year extension. We're just going to extend that out to 3 years flat, no extension. We were running into a lot of issues with developers not being able to contract with an engineer, or the engineer they contracted with were 18 to 2 years out. So this gives them enough time to get their project through engineering. So with that, town staff recommends approval for this text amendment. I won't read all that out for you, but to town council, or to the Planning and Zoning Commission, to forward a recommendation of approval to town council. With that, I will open it up to questions or discussion from the commission. I do have a copy of the language. If there's any specific questions on that, more than willing to go over them.
Okay. Are there questions from anybody on the commission concerning the wordage? We kind of went over this a couple different times.
Only question I have is on the 5.3.3 water and sewer connections. You're giving them till September 1st, 2025 with not requiring them to hook up to town water and
So
sewer?
that is an existing provision that came back through the subdivision code rewrite back in 2020. That is a provision that council put in there, and we are not proposing any changes to that.
So we're not requiring hookups.
Through a lot split until that dead end.
I don't really agree with that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something that the town council placed in there. I think it's also the same provision for sewer hookups. Am I
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah,
That is correct.
water and sewer.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll probably have you come back
Sure.
up at some point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the applicant representative just left the podium.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna open up this portion of the meeting for public comment. If there's anybody in the public that would like to come up and speak about this item at this point, here's an opportunity to do that. Nobody doing so. Okay, so we're gonna close this portion of the meeting. Does the commission have any questions for the staff at this point? Okay. So at this point, then, if there's no questions, I'm going to entertain a motion.
I move to approve text amendment TA 2022-05 to reflect attachment A, subject to staff report and information provided during this hearing.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion before we vote? All right, we're going to do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Welker,
Yay.
Commissioner Penn,
Yes.
Commissioner Matters,
Aye.
Commissioner Switzer,
Aye.
Commissioner Somerville,
Yes.
Vice Chair Passiak,
Aye.
Chair Merritt.
Aye.
Thank you.
So it passes unanimously. So that portion of the meeting is closed. We move forward to item E, action items, which there are none apparently. So item F is staff information.
All right, so we have two for the commission tonight. The first one is an update from town council, previous town council session. We had two items that went before the planning commission. The first one was a rezone for Mr. Roki. It was an industrial 1 acre lot that was proposed to be rezoned to single family 1. It did get unanimous approval. The second one is that text amendment for the guest house rental, and it was tabled by town council to a date in the future. So we're gonna wait to hear what council wants to say as far as when they want us to bring that back, if they want to bring it to a study session, however that looks going forward. The second item is just a quick update on the town's general plan process. If I can get this guy to zoom in. So as you may or may not know, the town has contracted with Matrix Design. They're a nationwide company, but they do have a base out of Phoenix to help us in writing our new, it's not a rewrite, it's a complete brand new general plan rewrite. General plan right. So right now, this is just a really general timeline for the project schedule here. We're into September right now. Staff and Matrix are currently working together to get the steering committee, which are essentially groups of individuals that will be appointed by town council to essentially direct and guide this general plan right through this whole process. It'll give a lot of impact, essentially the pulse of the community. And then also we're going to be doing individual group interviews. Matrix will be for our stakeholder members, which are groups of individuals that are either representative of a certain business or just businesses in general, the school district, developers, equine individuals. We will have representation of the Chino Valley Alliance, the Responsible Growth Alliance that has been coming to our meetings, which is fantastic. So it'll be a lot of public engagement. We're entering in that phase. And then just kind of going through this whole thing, we're anticipating a June cutoff of this going to council hearing and then ultimately out to the voters around that time as well during a special election probably. So just a quick update for you there. There will be more to come, obviously. That is all I have.
Thank you, Will. Anybody have any questions concerning that?
That's pretty that.
Is
Well,
this? Oh, go ahead.
Commissioner Metters has a question for you.
Sure.
Are they going to redo or update the building codes
With a general plan?
Well, I
Or
mean,
just,
while we're doing the general plan? Are they going to update the building codes?
it won't happen at the same time as the general plan. That'll come probably later. We are looking at forming a building advisory board that will help with that when that time comes.
Okay.
But at this point, it will not be part of the general plan,
And that'll be within the year?
more than likely. Or the year for which part? The building advisory committee or yes, more than likely within the year.
Is the council choosing steering committee based on
Their own
Im-
recommendation.
their own recommendation?
Correct.
Any other questions? Thank you, Will. So F2, commission, anybody on the commission have anything they want to discuss?
I do. With the current crisis that we're having with water rights coming out of the Colorado River, can we put a moratorium on swimming pools construction within our
That's-
town limits?
Something staff can research and we can get back with you, unless Frank has any sort of.
I know Las Vegas just downsized to 600 square foot. Nobody's allowed to have Olympic size, but I've heard that was discussed for Maricopa County. I know I would like to take it to Yavapai County. Don't need to be building huge old swimming pools when our water rights can't support agriculture.
Right. I would just comment that as far as the Colorado River is concerned, the Chino Valley area sees no water from Colorado River like Phoenix does.
I know, but the Verde watershed project is going down faster than the Colorado almost, so.
Right. Yeah, our sole source of water is groundwater through here.
But staff can research that and
Okay,
provide our findings either
Great.
next meeting or the following.
I would like to see more discussion on the PFOA chemicals in water. There's the papers have come out with 2 weeks in a row with they're concerned about these chemicals that are found in the water, and they had to shut down a couple of the wells. Prescott had to shut down a couple of wells and blend some of the water with existing wells with the wells they shut down. It's in the paper here.
Right. I'm just not sure how that affects planning and zoning.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't it affect the amount of people that will be using or tapping into our water system here?
I'm not sure how that affects the amount of people. That's the water quality. That's
Water quality, yeah.
not land use. I'm not sure it's applicable.
Might be a
Okay.
better
So
discussion.
this
for
part
what-
of the meeting is just for things that the commission has jurisdiction
Okay.
over.
Yeah.
You have a
I didn't
concern
know,
about-
I didn't know what, if we had any kind of input or the council would have that.
No, and just to comment on that, we haven't done any testing on that. I'm not sure if there's even any treatment available for those compounds. It's
Yeah.
based on health advisory. There's no regulations on that at this point. So I just haven't received any direction from council on that. I can tell you that so far, but I'm not sure even if we tested like Prescott did, what we would have. If we test the one well that gets the majority of our water, we need to shut that down. How do the people of Chino Valley get water?
Right.
So when these are compounds naturally, I don't know if they're naturally occurring, but fertilizer related, plastics related,
Yes. All
parts
sorts
per
of
billion
industrial
or
chemicals.
trillion in there. So there's a lot of research that needs to go on this, if you ask me.
I know we had some discussion about the amount of water before and whether we could approve of more residents moving into the Chino Valley. So I thought maybe this might have something indirectly to do with the,
Right.
with
In
the-
my mind, it's more of a water quality issue
Okay.
than it's more like an arsenic or some sort of
Yeah.
issue like that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I just wanted to make comment on the council's decision to table the rental
Yeah.
situation. I would listen to that meeting online and it seemed like council was still not really understanding what we did here at P and Z and made it really clear, but I just want to let staff know that I'm very open. I think we should have a joint session with council to maybe really clarify our views on that and why we came up with what we did.
Yeah, they went off on a tangent on different issues. that
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
really got
discuss.
muddy again, and it was
Hmm.
something that I still think needs to be addressed in
Well,
the
a
town.
study session, actually a study session with both groups available at the same time, because there seems, I don't know what the confusion is. It seems pretty straightforward to me, but maybe we're not explaining it very carefully, or
Sure.
I
Yeah.
know there's been some new folks added to the council, so.
Yeah, I can float that up the chain.
And then
see if
one
that's-
comment that was made, I forget who made it, but they said that having multiple meters in the same property was not allowed. Well, that's not true. So, and the kind of council seemed like they understood that it was true. So that was another thing that should be brought up, because multiple meters are on the same property are allowed,
Perfect.
Mhm.
at least. I don't know if they're legally allowed, but I know several people that have 2 meters
Well,
on
the
their
town
property. so-
engineer in the meetings, and you
Said
correct me
what?
if
And
I'm wrong.
it was permitted, so.
You have the authority to do multiple meters in certain circumstances, am I correct?
That's correct. It falls in per the code. It's under my discretion as far as
Yeah.
So
whether to
that,
allow
I
or
mean, that
not.
just kind of illustrates that maybe we could all sit down and they can hear what we've been hearing and kind of get everybody on the same page. That's a great suggestion.
That was in discussion with reference to guest houses, right?
Correct.
On the property.
Allowing rental.
Yeah, right.
Correct. But I will say 2 meters equals 2 connection fees equals 2
Yep,
bills.
we've discussed all that very carefully, I
Yeah.
thought, so.
Well, and then there's public comment, that Chino's gonna turn into this rental, everybody's gonna build one on there. Well, that's just not common sense. I mean, the cost would keep this limited to try to make people that are already doing it illegally legal.
And
So
that's all the intent was for enforcement.
Correct.
And
That was
so
the
maybe if we
crux.
sat down and all talked about it together in a study session, that would probably be a good way to do it.
Yeah,
If they
absolutely.
choose to do that, we work for them, so.
Absolutely. So I
just a
will,
suggestion.
yeah, float that up
Absolutely,
and see
that's
if
a
that's
good one, too.
something
Mm.
we can do and see if they're entertain it. Absolutely.
All right, so this next item is for the public to come up and speak about any items that are not on this agenda tonight. As long as it pertains to the Planning and Zoning Commission authority. You can come up and speak for 3 minutes and have your say about stuff, but it cannot be anything that's on the agenda tonight. Would anybody like to do that? All right, so we close the public portion of the meeting and come to item G, which is a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move we adjourn. I
Second.
second.
Multiple seconds, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Meeting's closed. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight.
Gotcha. So we'll get our alternate prime.